All right, somebody's got their it's like somebody has a tab open to the Masculine Geek broadcast. Turn that shit
All right,
off.
somebody's got their
Mike, do you have a tab open?
tab open to the Masculine Geek.
Because I can hear whatever I'm saying.
Somebody's got their
Hang on. Is it me?
It might be you.
Testing.
You are a boomer.
Hang on.
So anything we say is coming out over someone's YouTube stream. Mike, do you have a tab open with the YouTube stream?
There we go. Is that any better?
Turn it off or mute it. Test.
Any
There
better?
we go. Yeah, it's much better. Okay, I think. Nope. Do I still hear it? No, there we go. Nope, I still hear it.
Okay, I think. Nope. Do I still
Yes.
hear it?
So
There we go. Nope.
somebody has
All right.
tab open.
Hang on. It's probably me, but I got to figure out how to change the to headphones.
All right,
Do that?
we are a professional podcast here, just so you know.
See,
Yeah,
audio.
yeah, it even says so in the comments.
Thank you, thank you, AJ. Yeah.
See, audio.
It even says so in the comments.
Thank you, thank you, AJ. Yeah.
Yeah. Thanks.
You hear
Yeah.
that? Yes.
Professional podcasters. Yeah.
Test.
Okay.
Test
Give me a
1,
second.
2. I think that worked. Test.
You guys talk amongst yourselves while I figure this out.
All right. So everyone, welcome to MG number 269.
So we're gonna have a guest tonight, right?
We're gonna have a guest today. So this is Life, Love, and All Things Cosmic Horror with Mike Davis from Lovecraft eZine. Now, before we get started, Mike is an old friend of mine, and we'll get into the origins of that. But before I do, when you go back to YouTube Analytics, you look at how long people listen. There's people listening live that are going to get the whole show. People that come in later and listen, they listen on average about 15 to 20 minutes. From what I've been told, for long form content, this is average. So having said that, I'm not going to wait till the end to plug your things. I want to talk about very briefly, Mike, your Patreon and the really cool stuff you have on your Patreon, because I want to get more subscribers out to you, because you do offer a lot of value for the money. So can you discuss your Patreon real fast, and then we'll get into who you are. Well, you can talk about who you are as you talk about the Patreon, but let's talk about that. What's your Patreon like?
All right, you guys still there?
Yeah,
Yes.
we're here. Did you hear anything that I said?
I'm guessing no.
Test. We can't hear you. Wow, this is
And he's gone.
this is fantastic. So anyway, we'll get back to he'll figure it out.
Well, you can tell us a little bit about him. Who is this guy, and why would we be interested in
So
his content?
so thank you, Robert, for doing that. You're you and TJ are very good hosts. I sometimes forget stuff because I'm old. So Mike Davis runs a website and podcast and YouTube channel called the Lovecraft eZine,
Okay.
as following the works and the literature of H.P. Lovecraft, the cosmic horror writer. If you don't know who that is, I feel sorry for you, and you need to get on Google and look up H.P. Lovecraft. His short stories and the few novellas that he wrote are fantastic. So, Mike Davis, devices are not connected. There you are. You back with us?
All right. Any better?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Can you hear us?
Yes.
Wonderful.
Fantastic. So what I was going to say is I want you to plug your Patreon. All right, so who you are, very quickly, like what the Lovecraft eZine, and I want you to plug your Patreon really quick because we want to talk about that, because the money you offer really good. You offer a lot for what the Patreon is, and I want to get more people to subscribe and follow your work. So go ahead, tell us about your Patreon.
All right. Well, thanks. Sorry,
Absolutely.
I guess we should have figured that out before we went live, right?
That's all right. We're good. The best stuff is like off the cuff.
Oh yeah, yeah. So, correct microphone here.
Yes.
All right. So the Patreon, yeah, it's funny how it happened, because like 5 years ago, right before I started it, this is what precipitated it. I had been making a little money on the eZine by using Amazon Associates. So they got so many little rules. I know this now, but the short version is they have so many little rules, and they'll kick you out forever for violating the most minor one.
It's
so I got this, So I got this email on a Monday morning that basically said, "You're gone. You violated rule number 50,286." And I was just stunned, and I was like, well, I hope I don't have to get a job. That would suck. And then I thought about Patreon. Had never used it before. That's what it started. This is a lot more fun, So with you guys want me to go into details about what it is, Vince?
Sure, go for it.
All right, so the $5 level is a bunch of extra Patreon-only podcasts. So just $5 a month, which I think is a really good deal. And it's not the ones that weren't good enough to make the regular podcast. It's a lot of great ones, like interviews with Larry Barron and Paul Tremblay and guys like that. So, and once you go out from there, there's a lot of really I got a $10, a $25, and a $50. So Vince is at the $1,000 level because he thinks it's something really special, but I haven't told him yet that it's not. So,
well, you have him snowed, so that's something, right?
Yeah. Is he having audio problems too?
He probably had to step away for just a second. So,
okay.
Since he already knows you, I guess he can miss some of this. But
well, I don't want to bore you guys too much with the Patreon. I appreciate the guys who do it.
No, it's one of those things that he's wanting more people to know that you actually offer some value as far as content goes to subscribers or people who are into HP Lovecraft and also other stuff. I mean, just
Victivus has it straight on. I had to take a massive piss.
Yeah.
When you get to be your age, that's
cheers. Yes.
Yeah. He forgot the whole go before we get in
no
the car.
I did. it just been this drinking doesn't help. So
I like your cap, man.
Thank you. Yes, it's my driving cap. All right, so where were we? What was the last thing you guys were talking about? Your Patreon.
Oh, well, he had gone through some of the different levels and the fact that he has you snowed into supporting the highest tier.
One of them, yes. I've been supporting the Lovecraft eZine probably from the inception.
Yeah, and there really isn't $1,000 level. So, but if there was, I'm sure Vince would be on it because he's.
I would totally be on it. Exactly. That means I come out to.
Yeah, I'm gonna make you eat those words, man.
You should totally do $1,000 level, and I will.
See if he does it.
So what you do is you set that up, and then you it's like spend a day with Mike Davis.
And
you hang out in his office. You hang out with Oreo, and he buys you breakfast. And all kinds of stuff.
I'm looking for them to pay me, not for me to pay them.
Right.
Well, we definitely pay you.
Yeah, okay.
But you still have to make us breakfast. It's Alicia.
Well, I basically talked about the first level and said that, I got a 5, 10, and a 25, and I didn't lay in all the details there, but, just appreciate you guys bringing it up. Patreon.com/Lovecraft eZine, or just Google Lovecraft eZine Patreon.
Exactly. Anyone who's in the chat now and listening for the first 20 minutes, if you do like supporting small press and small podcasts such as ourselves and Mike, put your money where your mouth is and support, because you can like something, you can share it, you can say, hey, I like your stuff, but in the end, that doesn't mean dick. Don't get me wrong. It's a nice sentiment. But money talks and bullshit walks. Let's just face it. That's how that works. But anyway, so let's dive into the meat of it.
Yeah, I mean, I do appreciate the viewers, and some people
absolutely
$5 a month. It seems even at my financial level, I can afford $5 a month, right?
Exactly.
And I won't really miss it. But there are some people out there who can't, and I understand that. But a lot of people can't.
I get that, but they shouldn't be watching any of these shows. That's my harsh. That's my harsh.
They should be getting a job.
Exactly. Thank you. Yes, they should be performing some kind of productive GDP activity.
They should be taking Aaron Clary's course.
Yeah, exactly.
But you are right. I mean, you guys, Vince has been there from the very beginning, even when I didn't ask for, any financial commitment from anyone or, pledges from anyone, anything like that. He was there. He would, we had audio versions of the stories and he would voice those quite a bit. So things like that. Yep.
I'm on here as one of the audio. So I've been doing, so here's what happened. This is how Mike and I met. Back in 2011 or 2012, I forget the year, one of the women I was dating, she knew I was into Lovecraft, and I had no idea that Mike and the Lovecraft existed. Sorry, Mike. Had no clue.
No, many people
and
don't.
my girl at the time pointed it out. She's like, I think you would be interested in this. And I checked it out. I'm like, yeah. And then I saw that you had a call to action. You wanted individuals to do a voice work for the short stories that you were publishing in the the print copy. So I said, hey, you know what? I like reading. I have a sort of a decent voice. Let me go ahead. At least she thought so. Let me go ahead and reach out to Mike, and I did, and the rest is history. So we've known each other, I'm going to say, since 2011.
Started it on February 1st, 2011. So yeah.
Is that, are you making that up, or is that serious?
No, that was when the first issue came out.
Oh, okay. There you go.
Yeah.
So I forget how we got started on me coming on your show and then us doing the Call of Cthulhu and the Ghostbusters games. Do you remember how that happened?
Well, not specifically, but I know it must have been more the gaming aspect of it.
Yeah.
And we got to know each other then. But I didn't know a girlfriend of yours had pointed you my way, or if I did, I forgot.
I may have told you. I'm not sure. It's been like anything over a decade is like lost in the hazy mists of time.
Yeah, but in fairness, I may not have been listening to you at the time.
That's probably true. I don't even listen to me, so I don't blame you. And then we met in person at Necronomicon. Now, was that 2013 or 2015?
That was probably 2013, but I don't know for sure.
Okay, so back.
But I'll tell you one thing. That was a great time. That was my first convention ever.
Really?
And yeah, and Vince Colorto was one of the two that were bodyguarding me a little bit.
We were, yes.
Yeah, it was pretty funny.
Yeah, we all hung out. We went everywhere. That was awesome.
Yeah.
That was
did the Providence walk?
Yeah, we did. We actually have. I have some video and have some photos from that with you. It was you, me, and Blair, and Dave Rankus, my buddy Dave.
Yeah. Didn't we see a couple of girls that had lost a dog or a cat or something?
Yes, we were trying to. It was a rabbit.
Rabbit. That's right. I knew it wasn't something.
So we're running around the yard trying to find a rabbit. That was a good time. It was hot as balls too. It was so hot. I was sweating my ass off. I'm like, I'm sorry, ladies. Your rabbit is like dog fodder. That's just the way it is.
Well, for a second, I thought we were headed for what's the name of that movie where she's boiling the rabbit in the.
Oh, I know you're talking about.
Yeah, Glenn Close, Michael Douglas.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, totally.
The ultra stalker. But it turned out they were not interested in us at all.
No,
or you guys. I was married. Or you guys, they were very interested in if we could catch the rabbit or not.
Correct. And
that's not a
makes
euphemism.
Sense. No.
So.
We did want to catch the rabbit, and it was being chased by cats and dogs. So that's that. So all right. So tell us a little bit about who you are and how you got started with the Lovecraft eZine.
Well, I don't know who I am. How I started with the Lovecraft eZine. I was a realtor for about 15 years because I've always wanted to work for myself, and really enjoyed it. One Sunday night, I was thinking, man, you're really lucky. You're getting up tomorrow and you're going to a job you really like. And bam, I got really, really sick. At first, I thought it was just the worst flu ever.
Mm-hmm.
My arms got all swollen up. By Tuesday, I was in the hospital, and it just hasn't really ended from there. It kicked off a bunch of chronic pain and other issues since then. So I tried, but after a year or two, it kind of became obvious that I wasn't going to be able to. I didn't have the energy, or to begin doing what I had been doing before. Couldn't make a living anymore. So my wife, this was in Iowa, where I'm from. Yes. My wife's sister was living in a small town here in Texas, and she very kindly put us up for 8 or 9 months while we, got our shit together. And my wife got a job, and she very nicely said, just rest up, stay at home, rest up. And I didn't. I just started the Lovecraft eZine because I thought I've always wanted to do something similar to this, and now I've got the time. I'm boring the shit out of Vince.
No, you keep going.
See you yawning there.
No, I was coughing.
Oh, okay.
I do. I cough, I drink, and I know things.
Yeah, you do. You do know things.
Exactly.
So I started from the beginning. The idea was community and a free online Lovecraftian / cosmic horror / weird fiction magazine, and did that for years. And then somewhere around 2016, 2017, yep, that's what it was.
Yep.
All online at first, and then it's really hard to do a magazine for years and years. Issue every month or every couple of months or whatever. And a guy I met, Scott Thomas, who I've since become really great friends with, wrote a book called The Sea of Ash, and hardly anyone had read it. Small press and all that. So I was reading it on the flight home, and he'd never even asked for this. He just wanted me to promote it because I'm lucky enough to have a big following. And I said, Scott, I'd love to publish this actually and get you a wider audience that way. He thought it was great. So that's how I started publishing books, which I still do, maybe one a year, one every 2 years, really kind of a micro press, and got into doing the podcast. And it's sort of just an evolution to where I am now. I never really planned any of it. So.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. Fool people like you into thinking I'm important enough to ask for interviews.
Right? No, you do offer. You're very interactive with your subscribers.
Yeah.
Which I can appreciate, and for the for the amount that you're asking, and the attention and the value that you have is phenomenal. From the movie nights to your broadcasts, your Patreon broadcasts, it's really completely worth it. And I'm going to say it again: anyone out there, there's an HP Lovecraft fan that wants to get involved and support what Mike's doing, I would suggest you get off your ass and do so. I would appreciate it. Mike would appreciate it, and all the other patrons would appreciate it.
I would. Yeah. And you don't have to be just into Lovecraft. That's sort of a base cornerstone.
Yeah.
Cosmic horror, which is a direct offshoot of that. And
so what is cosmic
horror?
What is cosmic horror?
Yeah, I was literally about to ask that question.
I don't actually. No, I'm kidding. Cosmic horror and Lovecraftian fiction are really, a lot of the time, they're used terms that are used interchangeably. But the way that I think of it is Lovecraftian horror is like what Pete Rawlik writes.
Yes.
It's pastiche, even though it's very good pastiche. It's kind of in the worlds that kind of in the Lovecraft playground, which he encouraged, using his creatures and old gods and myths and so forth. And then cosmic horror is just basically saying the idea that we live in a universe that doesn't care about us at the very minimum. There are things out there that we look like ants to, and the best we can ask for is that they don't notice us, and that the universe doesn't care about us at all. And building fiction from that is more what I term cosmic horror. So to you and I, that doesn't sound perhaps particularly scary, but to a lot of people it is. They think that there's someone out there looking out for them. And I'll never make fun of someone's beliefs, but I would say that even if you're a religious person, and I have friends who are Christians, for example, that are into Lovecraftian fiction because they like to read about what if it was like this. And just like, even though I don't believe in the supernatural, I love to read horror, so yeah. And then, weird fiction is, I consider weird fiction to be very hard to define, but Lovecraftian fiction, cosmic horror are a couple of branches off of the weird fiction tree, like Arthur Machen and guys like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, like a ghost story, you really wouldn't call weird fiction. But, Thomas Ligotti wrote in the introduction to one of his books, here's an example of weird fiction in one or two sentences. Let me see. 2 sentences. How's it go? Man wakes after the end of the world. The only man on earth wakes up in a dark room. His glasses are then placed into his hand. Now, that's weird fiction right there, because it's just outside of the whole ghost story, vampires, Frankenstein, all the monsters and everything. It's outside of our scope. So,
okay.
I don't know. A lot of people could probably define it a lot better than that, but there it is.
That pretty much sums it up for me.
I've always liked his introduction to that book and the way he summarizes it and condenses it.
Yeah.
So
now, when did you get in? Like, what was the point where you got into H.P. Lovecraft? How old were you?
Actually, unlike a lot of people, I was in my mid-20s, I think.
Okay.
So a lot of people discover Lovecraft, in their teenage years. But
yeah, I was probably 13 or 14.
Yeah, that's pretty typical. And I read voraciously growing up, but somehow never stumbled across him until then.
Okay.
Yeah.
Everything in its own time.
He's got one of the most unique names I've ever heard.
Yeah.
Like, and this wasn't unless I don't know, but that's his actual name.
Yeah.
H.P. Lovecraft. That wasn't a pen name.
Howard Phillips Lovecraft. Yep.
Yeah, that was his actual name.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas a lot of guys like John Wayne, that was not his name.
Yeah.
Marion Morrison.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like,
I can see why he changed it to be a tough guy. Marion, let's do another take on that, Marion.
Even General Grant, President Grant, wasn't his actual name.
There was a mistake made during his military career.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I find it amazing. I think the name Lovecraft, and you add that with horror, is just so it's there's something about that.
He was made for it, right? Is what you're saying. Yeah.
Hey,
we're not talking about crafting and getting out the sewing machine, folks. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
My name is Lovecraft, and I'm here to tell you about why you should despair.
That's awesome.
Right. That's pretty much it. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So. Yeah. Cool. Lovecraft was he.
Absolutely. I got nothing else. We're done.
All right. Well, this has been great, you guys.
I thought it was
watched a couple
interesting
of-
on. Oh,
go
sorry.
ahead, I'm
Go
sorry.
ahead.
No,
I was
I was going to say that I've watched a couple of your episodes and talk about some really interesting things. Yeah.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that.
appreciate
You
it.
should definitely subscribe.
I already did that.
Oh, fantastic. There you go.
Yeah.
I was just noticing, earlier when I was looking over some stuff on your website on the lovecraftzine.com.
Right.
One of the things that you were in your reading reviews was the manga Pluto, which is kind of an retelling of Astro Boy, that was kind of an interesting surprise that that made the cut. You can't really tell because nothing's in focus, but I have a passing fondness for manga and have one or two volumes here in the room with me. Some of it actually related to the topic at hand. But no, that was kind of interesting. Was it just the elements of that particular telling of the story that it
No, I
made the
remember,
cut for the website?
It's been a few years. So I can't answer the question really.
Okay.
I can review it, and my memory's like Vince's. I've made sense.
No one's memory is like mine. Mine's just ridiculously horrible.
Oh well, there's something called fibro fog. So hold my beer. Yeah. That thing where people can, you're thinking of, like we were trying to think of the name of that movie a few minutes ago.
Yeah.
That happens to me 20 times a day at least. I can't remember the name of one of my cats sometimes for 5 minutes.
How many do you have?
6.
You have 6 cats?
Mm-hmm.
Holy crap! That's a lot of crap.
Mm-hmm.
It is, and you got to stay on top of that shit, so to speak. Otherwise, your house smells.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
If you ever get a big ego or anything, and you think you're all that, I'm really awesome. I'm the Lovecraft eZine guy. Go change the cat box, and you're going to be brought down to earth right away.
Absolutely. So Mowgli, my cat, he doesn't even shit in the cat box anymore. He shits on the floor.
You're going backwards with your training.
Well, it's not even training. He's like, you know what? So he craps in specific spots under this chair at my writing desk here, and under my writing desk out in the living room. So
he's like, the idiot keeps picking it up, so this must be a good place to.
Exactly. I should just. In fact, there is a turd laying there. I left it there for him.
Thanks for sharing.
I'm gonna let that dry out and desiccate, so he won't crap there later.
Yeah, I don't think that's going to work either.
It's not going to work either. Nah, I tried.
Yeah.
I would say that's not a commentary on your writing from the cat, is it?
No, not really. I think my
he's a pretty
writing's
good writer.
Yeah, that's what I thought. But
I appreciate that.
God only knows what the cat likes.
Oh, that fucker. No, Mike's read. We actually had he interviewed me for it as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, a few years back, on an episode for the patrons, actually.
Exactly, that's true. It was a Patreon episode. So,
and we talked about your idol.
Idol.
My idol, not me. Tesla.
Oh, Tesla, yeah. One of my idols, yeah.
Yeah, a very interesting guy.
I'm a Tesla aficionado and amateur historian, yes.
Oh, and you didn't know about the that magician movie, The Prestige, where he's.
I did know. No,
David,
I knew.
You did.
David Bowie played him, yeah.
Right.
Yep.
Right. Well, you said you didn't know, and you were going to watch it, which might have been just to make me feel good.
Probably. I don't even remember it. I don't even remember the interview, to be honest with you.
That's the only part I do remember.
I know, right? No, I remember. I knew the movie. I knew of it. I saw snippets, but after we talked about it, I went back and watched it.
Yeah, it's a good movie.
Yeah, it is a good movie. I wouldn't have cast David Bowie as Tesla, though.
Mm-hmm.
That was completely retarded. That was ridiculous.
Yeah, who do you think should play him? If you were in charge of him, Tesla.
If I was in charge, that's a good question. Who now could have the honor to play Tesla? I don't know. I have to think on that. I'll have to get back to you. We'll have another episode where we talk about that.
I think what you're going to do is you'd have to find someone who's not an actor. They're not an actor traditionally. Like you find someone who looks like him, and you get.
Well, they did do that. There is a movie where they actually did exactly what you're talking about, and I get the name of the movie.
Like, it reminds me of when they have Tom Hanks play Walt Disney, and it's like, sorry, all I saw was Tom Hanks pretending to be Walt Disney.
Correct.
Whereas now, granted, Leonardo DiCaprio playing Howard Hughes, there was
that was spot on.
There was that moment he looks at the cameras during the congressional hearings, and it's like, I can't tell if I can't tell the difference anymore. Like he became, and and there's certain actors who can pull that off where they can kind of be a chameleon. But
AJ's right. Adam Driver might be able to pull it off. Although the problem with Adam Driver is he's too much of a whiny bastard.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's like what I can't even pronounce his name. The guy who played Napoleon in the Ridley Scott film.
Joaquin Phoenix. Joaquin.
Yeah, he played Johnny Cash too.
I'm trying to make.
He did a really good job as Johnny Cash.
He did a terrible job in Napoleon, where he basically.
They misrepresented the history of Napoleon.
Yes.
I'm sorry, they were not bombarding ice and having them crack through the
compare
ice.
That to Rod Steiger, who played. Yeah. Well, but compare Rod Steiger playing Napoleon, and then he goes and plays Komorowski from Dr. Zhivago, and then he goes and plays some Southern cop in The Heat of the Night. Like, he was able to fit into the role that he was playing.
Gary Oldman's like that.
Yeah.
Gary Oldman was very. Yeah, actually, he would be a good Tesla if he dyed his hair.
Oh, you know what? If 30 years ago, like during the Air Force One film era, Gary Oldman could have probably pulled it off.
Yeah.
He's thin enough and, all that stuff. But I just feel like it's at this point, we're talking about the year 2024.
Yeah.
You're going to have to find somebody who looks like him and teach him to be Tesla. Same thing with Lovecraft. Like you're going to have to find somebody because the other thing about Lovecraft, his name is so distinct, but the way he looks is very distinct.
Yeah,
you have to watch.
Yeah.
There's a small movie house. I forget the name of it.
You're thinking of what I'm thinking of. Yeah.
It's called Out of Mind.
Mm-hmm.
And that let me see if I can bring it up.
I'm looking it up now because he did an excellent job.
Oh, he was fantastic. He had the long horse face.
Christopher Heyerdahl.
Yes, Christopher Heyerdahl.
Yeah.
Yes, he did a great job as Lovecraft.
Really did. I was completely, I was able to easily suspend disbelief on that.
Absolutely, and it was a conglomeration, an amalgam of like 3 or 4 of Lovecraft stories.
Mm.
Yeah, what you were saying about Leonardo DiCaprio in that film, Howard Hughes.
Yeah,
I thought the same thing, and still do, of Robert Downey Jr. playing Iron Man.
Yes,
I mean, he basically almost is the guy.
Yeah, I would argue that Robert Downey Jr., because I've watched some of his other films, and it's weird. Like that was the role. Tony Stark was the role. There is no other person who could have ever played that role.
Yeah,
period. Like it's just not. And I can't think of a whole lot of films where that's the case, where you have a specific character, and you really can't think of anyone else who could ever played it. I'm thinking. I'm trying to think, but I can't imagine.
The same thing with I was watching some Christopher Reeve documentary. I can't even remember what it was, about a month ago, and I again thought to myself, that guy was born to play Superman.
Mm-hmm.
It's easy to forget now because we have had some great Superman actors since then, and I enjoyed those performances, especially Brandon Routh. But that guy is just Superman without, in real life, without the powers. I mean, it's amazing.
Oh, yeah. No, he was definitely born to play that role. That's for sure.
Yeah. So
Have they made going back to Lovecraft? Have they made
Mhm.
any films or any kind of like animated stuff of his stories?
Oh,
Oh
lots.
yeah,
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
yeah. Some actually in name, some not. For example, what is it? The Color of Space.
The Car
Color
Out
Out
of
of
Space
Space,
with
Yeah, fairly recently, but that had been made in like the late '80s with like Will Wheaton. They had done an adaptation.
I would
of
say
that
about
story.
it, that the problem is not finding any. The problem is finding any that are good. I would say
Good.
everything
Yeah.
out there, 10% are good movies.
There's two. I'm going to name two that are really spot on with the source material: Dagon
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
and The Resurrected.
Yep.
That one is basically really very close to the case of Charles Dexter Ward.
And
Mhm.
Dagon is basically the Shadow over Innsmouth with just
Yes.
a few changes.
Yeah, they're really so. I put anyone listening and you guys here, put
Yeah, check
The
those out.
Resurrected and Dagon on your list. Really good.
And I really like. I've got a soft spot for The Resurrected. I think that's a really
Isn't that good? It's so good,
Good.
especially when they're down the tunnels.
yeah.
underneath
And I may
the
have to
farmhouse.
rewatch that tonight.
It's so
But-
good. I've got the DVD somewhere.
But then also AJ, right? My memory. I'm sorry.
TJ
TJ. I'm so
TJ.
sorry, man.
AJ is in the chat.
chat.
AJ and TJ. That's what
Yes.
That's what threw me. All right. Well, the other thing about movies, Lovecraftian movies, that there are some really great movies that are Lovecraftian in nature, like cosmic horror or close to that sort of vibe.
Mhm.
Like Absentia is a good example. That was Mike Flanagan's first film, and a lot of people still don't know about it. But I interviewed him at the time before he blew up, and I mentioned in the interview that obviously he knew I really enjoyed the movie. And I said, it seems very Lovecraftian to me. And he got really excited because he said that's what I wanted, how I wanted it to come across, because he's a big Lovecraft fan.
Okay.
So I've got a list of, cosmic horror, you might say, or Lovecraftian in nature movies that I keep updated at the website. If you go to lovecraftzine.com or just Google Lovecraft eZine, and then at the top, I think I've just got it under Lovecraftian movies. And I've got a big list there. If you're looking for things to watch
Let me see.
and you want to get into cosmic horror.
I've got it right here. Yeah, Lovecraftian and cosmic horror movies. I'll play
Yep.
it now. I'll show it now.
Exactly. Absentia's at the top just because these are in alphabetical order.
Mhm.
Okay.
So yeah, it's a good
All right.
list. And you're not going to agree with me on everything, or if you're into Lovecraftian horror, but I think you'll agree with 90% of them.
Okay. Oh,
I'm not trying to make this a comprehensive list. That's the important thing. I'm trying to make it a list of what I think is.
And there's Pluto, the manga, up at the right there that I was talking about. So.
Oh, I know what. I've got a really great guy helping me lately by the name of Alan Hughes.
Mm-hmm.
He's a history teacher, and he's helping me with this stuff. So I've known him long enough that I trust his view on things. So I'll have to ask him that.
Okay.
But TV also, and there's a version Difarm of the Color Out of Space.
Oh yeah.
The Endless goes in there.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely.
There it is, right there. Yeah.
Event Horizon. Great
Yep.
movie.
The Midnight Meat Train is
Sounds pornographic, actually.
Well, it's pretty horrific.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I love Horror Express. That's so much.
Oh
fun.
yeah, I know.
That's so
right?
much fun with the monster in the crate. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, man, and Peter Cushing and Christopher Lee in the same movie.
Oh
Serious.
my God, it's just like complete nerd boner.
Yeah, I have to watch it.
But yeah, there'll be some movies in here that I think you'll like. I've been emailed a lot over the years by
This is a
people
really
telling me.
comprehensive list.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but again,
There
you
it
could
is,
have
Midnight
another
Meat Train.
200 films on here, but I just want to list what I feel are the best.
Gotcha.
Spider Labyrinth. You know who turned me onto that one?
No, who?
Sorry, this is what I mean about blanking. The Call of Cthulhu guy. Oh, Sandy Peterson.
Sandy
And
Peterson. Yeah.
I'm actually friends with him. I
Yeah,
was
he's
over
cool.
at his house.
We had him on an interview at the Legends of Tabletop, man.
Yeah, he's a great guy. He's a big kid. He's excited about all this stuff still.
So
Yeah,
one of my buddies actually works with him on his stuff, and I actually have a medallion. I'll show it.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah, he has people come over to his house and test games that he's creating. He has a lot of beta testers.
Yes, Red Crusader. It's on the eZine site. Head over to the eZine site. Sign up for the Patreon. You can sign up for $5 a month and still get great value from that.
Click on free Lovecraftian. No, what does it say at the top? Lovecraftian movies.
Yeah.
At the top. Lovecraftian and cosmic horror movies. That's what it says.
Yeah. If you're one of those people that sends super chats to people, I have nothing against super chats. They're fantastic. But if you're going to send money to a super chat, you can damn well send money once a month to a creator that you like. So just stop and think about that. Think about what we're saying.
You know what got me? Here's a good example. You know how like once or twice a year, Wikipedia does basically a little pledge drive or a big pledge drive on their website?
Absolutely, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So the last time they did that, about a year ago, they did that. And I was looking something up, as we all do, on Wikipedia. And I thought those guys they're basically saying if everybody gave $3 or $4 a month, we wouldn't have to worry about, keeping it financed. In fact, we could stop doing these pledge drives. And I thought it is absolutely wrong of me, as much as I use it, not to send them $3 a month. I'm poor. I'm not that poor. So
absolutely.
every month, my checking account automatically $3.35 to Wikipedia.
Oh, this is great. The Whisper in Darkness.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
it was so good.
Yeah, the H.P. Lovecraft Historical Society put that one out.
I love their radio programs.
Yeah,
if you're into radio programs, TJ, check out the H.P. Lovecraft Historical Society.
I've been into audio dramas most of my life. Yeah,
are you ahead of your partner?
I didn't have a TV growing up, and so at night, this is the 80s. At night, the local station KRNT 1350 KRNT would play old time radio from the 40s and 50s, right? Mm-hmm. So I got into it then, and Mystery Theater was actually on the air from 1974 to 1982. And so I just really grew to love it. I still do. And, they do a really great job of emulating that vibe.
Mm-hmm.
They really do. So,
yeah, they do.
I wish I could show you events. You're gonna be really jealous of this, but unless you bought them. But they sent me. Possible. I emailed them and I said, "Hey, I want to keep promoting you guys and everything. Would you guys mind sending me the MP3s? That won't cost them anything, and they'll get a lot of promotion out of me and everything." And they're like, "No, we don't mind. What's your address?" I was like, "Oh, my address. You don't need my address." I'm like, "Yeah, we do. We're going to send you the physical copies because they."
Oh, damn.
They have all these. I'm sure you know this, Vince. They have all this paraphernalia that they give you with the CD.
It's like a swag box that goes along with the stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
but it has to do with that particular story.
Yeah,
like Mountains of Madness or Shadow Out of Time. That's my favorite of theirs.
Yeah, I love Shadow of Time too. Yeah.
Yeah, and so they sent me the two big books of all the paraphernalia and all the CDs.
Oh, nice. No, I do not have that.
It's amazing.
I actually very jealous. So when I come out to visit you one of these days, I will steal it from you.
That's not a problem. I'll just ask them to send me another one.
Send them again. Hey, Vince.
They didn't arrive in the mail.
Vince from Masculine Geek stole my shit. So you have a question. You have a question for Red Crusader.
What's your
Well,
guys?
we all do
Okay,
actually.
we all do. Favorite original Lovecraft writing panel? What's a writing panel?
Oh no. So what? Red Crusader. What? Can you be more detailed?
Does not compute.
Does not compute.
Does not compute.
Wondering if he's asking what our favorite story is.
Maybe, but that's a weird way to ask.
Yeah.
Red, what's going on over there? You on something right now? Some kind of
Hopefully,
medication?
hopefully they are.
Hopefully, yeah. If you're smart, you're on some kind of medication at the moment. When we have Mike on, I mean that's just how you do it.
Mm-hmm.
I do miss our Call of Cthulhu and Ghostbusters games.
Hey, I would love to do that again. The only thing is, this time I can't do the heavy lifting. As far as running the games and stuff like that. I can air it.
Well, what happened
be
with
there.
what happened with Blair?
Blair just got really focused on this business he's running with his wife, which I get it, but he's a really good guy. I emailed him one time, said I missed those times and everything, and he really does. He's just busy.
Well,
As you know, he's a really emotional guy. So,
he's a very emotional. He's too emotional for his own good.
And I talked to him on Zoom once, and he started tearing up about it, which I understand. I'm not making fun of it, but
No.
that's how much he misses it, is what I'm trying to say.
No.
Lovecraft stories. Well, he did a collaboration. Okay, this is if you only read one. He did a collaboration with R.J. Barlow, and he wrote a story called The Night Ocean. Anyone who listens to my show is probably sick of hearing about this, but you guys look like willing victims. So The Night Ocean is just a really good story, and it's got a lot of mood and atmosphere. That's one of my favorites. And then as far as one he wrote by himself, I would have to go with The Shadow Out of Time.
Correct.
Yeah. What about you, Vince?
Shadow Out of Time and The Case of Charles Dexter Ward and At the Mountains of Madness. Those three.
Yeah.
I absolutely. There's what the hell is his name? William E. Hart. He does really good. They're free. Voice narrations of Lovecraft's work, and he does a really good job of The Case of Charles Dexter Ward.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Have you ever heard Wayne June read them?
Who?
Wayne June.
That sounds familiar. Who's that?
Well, he's a narrator, and he actually, I can't think of the video game right now. Darkest Dungeon video game. He narrated that, which is a really popular game apparently. And no, you could probably go onto YouTube and search for like Wayne June and Lovecraft, and you'll find a bunch of them. Be my guess. Let me see if I'm right or not. But I listened to them before I ever started Lovecraft eZine. It's just
okay.
He's got this really, really deep voice, a lot deeper than mine. Yep, he's on YouTube.
All right. Let me share this with you. Let me share this with you. Hang on.
Yeah. Thing on the Doorstep, Haunter of the Dark, so on and so forth. This is William Hart.
William E. Hart.
Oh no, I know this guy. Yeah.
Yeah, he does really good. Yeah, really good renditions of his work. He's got a great speaking voice for Lovecraft work.
Yeah, he does. I think he sent me that one.
I may have, yeah.
First one. No, he did.
Oh, he did. I may have. Yeah. I may have sent you this link at some point in time, but I don't even know if he's still alive.
Yeah, I think he is.
Okay, that's good because this is the last post was November 8, 2018.
Maybe I'm wrong. Well, right now he's like Schrodinger's cat.
Oh no, wait.
He's either alive or he's not.
2023.
Okay, he is.
He's probably alive.
Probably.
Dirty bastard.
Yeah, that's Lovecraft's Halloween poem.
There you go. Yeah, that's one of your favorite times of year, isn't it?
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, you saw the pumpkin back there, right?
I got a
Showed it.
question.
Yeah.
Show it again. Oh, yeah, there's a pumpkin. Yeah. Go, TJ.
So the question is this, for a lot of great guys like this, like Lovecraft, some people don't require a lot of explanation or context, but how do you have you ever encountered people who like, I don't understand why he's so popular or why people read his stuff or why they're so into the mythos? So for context,
Sure.
I play Cthulhu Wars, the Sandy Peterson's
Sandy,
game
yeah.
every month. And I'm amazed at like how his literary legacy has evolved, like George Lucas's cinematic, into other areas. But there's some people who will say, I don't get it. Like, what is a what like they need the context of his time period. What would you say to them?
That I don't get romance novels, but they can still read
Mhm.
if they want to.
That's a very good retort and very very appropriate.
I mean, that's like anything else. If you're into it, you're into it. It's a subgenre, right? It's a genre of a subgenre in a way.
Yeah.
And so that, it really percentage-wise, there aren't very many people who are in it, as opposed to say, just about everybody enjoys a good ghost story, right?
Mhm.
Yeah.
But a lot less people know about Lovecraft and or cosmic horror. So I mean, I guess me personally, I'm not trying to convince anyone that you really need to. So that's how I personally would answer it. But if I was trying to talk someone into it, I would just say, if you like horror, try this out, and maybe you will be into it.
Hmm.
I mean, I guess your question is more like they have and they haven't got. They have. Is that what you mean? They've tried to read a story or two and they don't get it.
I think it's more of people who don't understand context, meaning, Lovecraft wrote his stories within a context. It's the same. And a buddy of mine was making the same point. He said, look, Star Wars was made in a certain context. This is why the sequels didn't work, is because they're trying to take something that came out in the 70s and they're trying to put it in the 2010s,
Right.
and it doesn't work because it's a different era. Like the context, there was a context, social cultural context to Star Wars coming out in 1977. And so
Right.
Lovecraft was writing at a time. Well, the point the guy was making was that Lovecraft was writing at a time where most people were religious. And so this was a variation or a deviation or whatever word people want to use from that. Whereas now, that's not really the case. So some people are not going to fully understand his cosmic horror because our culture is so different from what it was at the time he wrote it.
I guess I would say to that person, have you ever at all had the feeling or wondered if what you understand as reality is just a really tiny slice of it? It's like an ant and us. We live in the same reality, right? But he can't comprehend how complicated our lives are.
Hmm.
Even if he could think about it. And the Night Ocean, the reason why I recommend that story, one reason is because it really communicates that fact, that mood, that atmosphere, that the protagonist gets the feeling that something happened. He knows something happened, but it's so far out of his day to day that he can't comprehend what it is. He doesn't have enough information. And so it's not about just, living in a world, in a universe that doesn't care about you. It's, what if all this other stuff is going on that you just, you can't recognize it. And so I guess I can't put it any better than that.
No, that's a very good way to put it.
So, yeah.
What are you drinking there, Mike?
water and Coke.
No, at the same time.
Not at the same time.
Oh, okay. Just checking.
No.
Well, what's your favorite outside of Lovecraft? What's your favorite horror story or cosmic horror story or even ghost story for that matter? Do you have a favorite, like a go-to that you read every year?
Yeah, I reread The Man in the Picture by Susan Hill a lot.
Okay.
It's not even that thick of a book. It's more of a novella, maybe a little bit bigger. She's the same writer who wrote I can't think of it. It was the kid from Harry Potter. He starred in it.
Oh, okay.
Let me Google it. But yeah, The Man in the Picture, Vince, you might like it. It's this really creepy ghost story, you know, or
I
maybe
love
not.
ghost stories. I love ghost stories. Yeah.
Yeah. Susan Hill. The other one is not Susan Hiller, Susan Hill. Okay. Yeah, she's English, and okay, here it is. What is Susan Hill famous for? Because that's obviously the one I can't remember. Really?
Absolutely.
I thought that was Vince. There it is. The Woman in Black.
That was
I thought of it right at the
Oh,
beginning.
The Woman in Black. Yeah.
Yeah, she wrote the story, and they did actually a pretty good job making it into a movie. So
that's unusual.
Yeah, it is unusual, and it's got a Hollywood ending. I asked her about it once. She's like, "Yeah, you know, it is what it is." I mean, overall, they did a really great job.
Once you sell the rights, that's it. You're done.
Yeah,
unless you factor yourself into that contract.
Yeah, but on the other hand, you can laugh all the way to the bank.
Well, it depends.
If you got paid, yeah.
Yeah, first time writers are notorious for taking shit deals.
Yeah, they are.
They really are. It's like okay,
don't sell the movie rights. I mean, don't put the movie rights in your contract.
Exactly. Yeah. I know several. One in particular, Matthew Quick, who wrote the Silver Linings Playbook. He sold the movie rights for that for pittance. He was an upcoming writer struggling, and he figured, okay, well, this will probably never get made into a movie. I'll take what they're offering. And wrong. Thank you for playing. No.
Yeah, you do you know the story of Sylvester Stallone and Rocky? The script.
I think so, because he wanted to be involved in it. He wanted to play the main character,
and he was offered a lot of money for him at the time.
Everyone kept turning him down. Yeah, everyone kept turning him down because, like, oh, you can't play this.
Right, but he was offered money for the script itself.
Exactly.
Not, you know, and he refused. Yeah. He had no money, and he refused. That's what you got to do. You can't get rid of those movie rights.
No, hold out. Definitely hold out.
If you like audio dramas too, the Man in the Picture is a real, not audio drama, sorry, just audio readings. The narrator for The Man in the Picture, it's on Audible, does a great job.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, another one that does a great job. I've got to reread this because I've only read it once, Vince. But a book called The Shadows by
that sounds familiar.
By a writer by the name of Alex North.
Okay.
Came out just several years ago. And reading it is one thing. I like to listen to books when I go to bed at night. Listening to this thing at 2 a.m, because I'm not asleep yet because it's so great, with some of the scenes in that book is creepy as hell. Which is, you know, as horror fans, that's what we're after that feeling.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
You know?
You're definitely after that ambiance.
Yeah. So that's one way to get it. It's like Stephen King's short story Crouch End. I'm sure you're familiar. It's a Lovecraftian story, by the way. But
okay.
Tim Curry reading it is just flat out amazing. It brings it up to another level.
I had no idea. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Well,
Yeah.
Healthy Tim Curry reading anything takes it to another level. So
Yeah, he could read a laundry list.
yeah.
Mhm.
I know one of the movies I liked, which I always thought was kind of Lovecraftian in how eerie it was, just its atmosphere.
All right, who's
It's
playing with their
actually based
microphone?
on
It
a
sounds like somebody's playing with themselves.
it's actually based on a story by William Hope Hodgson, the Voice in the Night, but it was done as
Yeah.
Matango, which is like I think translated and released over here in English as Attack of the Mushroom People or something like that. But that's one of the ones I always thought had a very kind of Lovecraftian vibe about it. I mean, it was just such an eerie movie throughout the whole thing, as far as the horror of it all, and then how it ends. Well, you have the setup at the beginning and the end with the protagonist, and it just, I don't know, it's just one of
You're
those
not
things.
wrong.
It doesn't surprise me that that Lovecraft is so popular in a place like Japan, that they just kind of get him in a way.
Yeah. Yeah, you're not wrong about that story, and that's on that weird fiction tree.
Mm-hmm.
And a story like The Willows too is right in there.
Yeah. Yeah.
The Great God Pan.
Mm-hmm.
If you want to read a modern Lovecraftian story by a writer who I assume most of us like is Stephen King, read it's a more novella length, but it's called N, just as in the letter N.
Mm-hmm.
Is the name of the story, and it's in Just After Sunset. His collection, Just After Sunset.
Hmm.
And that's very Lovecraftian, and you're going to get that Stephen King vibe along with it. So it's going to be very readable, even for those who don't even know what Lovecraftian fiction is.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
But it is a Lovecraftian story. And he even talks about the great god. One of the characters in the stories talks about the great god Pan being the scariest story ever written.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, you guys should check that out. Again, I hate to keep saying the same thing over and over, but that's a really great one on Audible too. There's 3 different narrators for it. So.
Okay. You have a comment from Red Crusader.
All right. One of the funniest experiences I had related to reading the mythos was me and a buddy camping in southern Ohio and reading through some Lovecraft at night in October. Yeah, where you are, and something's going to seem more spooky at 3 a.m. than 2 in the afternoon.
Absolutely, yeah, it's good stuff.
Which is why you got to watch horror movies at night, right?
Yeah, watching horror movies in the morning or the afternoon is just like don't do it. You're really robbing yourself of that experience.
It's like eating donuts for dinner. It just doesn't work.
Right? Seriously.
Yeah.
Now you were involved a little bit, and to some extent myself.
No, it wasn't me.
It was totally you, dude. Once I continue my sentence without being interrupted, you'll understand.
There's little chance of that happening.
I know, right? It's not going to happen here on the MG podcast. With Necronomicon, can you speak to that a little bit? Necronomicon, your involvement with that?
I just get invited,
Okay.
but
God only knows why.
Yeah, I know. I help them promote it, and I'm on panels there. The guy who really works his ass off every 2 years is Niels Hobbs. Yeah. But man, that's a hell of a convention.
Oh, that was the first time. First time we went was 2013, when they had started off in early 2000s and it tanked. We had financial issues and other issues. The idea had lain dormant until 2013. It was the same time they were doing the Waterfire. So they made it into a Lovecraft theme for Waterfire in Providence, Rhode Island, the Arts Council. So that was fun. It was like Mardi Gras.
Really cool, wasn't it?
Completely like Mardi Gras. Yeah, it was fantastic.
Yeah. Yeah, that was really cool.
Yep.
And
That was
then-
that was the year I met Pete Rawlik, and his leg was in a cast.
Yeah, I forgot about that.
That son of a bitch. Not only was I like bodyguarding you, I was helping Pete.
Yeah. So it's every 2 years, but they had to skip because of COVID, and now it was every 2 years on an odd year. Is what I meant to say. Now it's every 2 years on the even years. Are you going in August?
No.
Why not?
We're not going to get into that on the podcast.
Is it money? Because I've got $5 or $10 laying around that I could send.
you can donate to me? No. It completely has nothing to do with money whatsoever.
Yeah, no, but it's a blast. If anyone listening, if you got the chance.
No, no, don't get me wrong. It is fun.
Yeah.
I have other concerns that I have to deal with. But I would like to go to see everybody. It's really not so much about the convention for me. It's about meeting up with everybody.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
One of my favorite memories from conventions and the HP Lovecraft Film Festival too.
Oh, that's good too. Yeah.
Yeah, is Joe Pulver standing outside of the hotel smoking, and people just going up to him and him talking and holding court the whole time,
Yep.
Or going to the bar.
His exclamation points.
Yeah, going to the bar and talking to you guys. And,
yeah.
Or we played. Remember that a couple years ago we played. Forget what game in a hotel room though.
Crap.
Yeah.
There was
no, it's not a sexual game either. It's the card game.
We played a card game in
4 or 5 other people.
It was in John, mine, Rick Lie's. So Rick Lie, the pulp guy, Pete Rawlik, John, my buddy John, myself. We all shared a hotel room at the Biltmore.
Yeah.
And we just had like a room party.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun.
Yeah, that was great. That kind of stuff is why I go to conventions, not for the actual convention itself. I mean, that's the backdrop.
I think the last couple of times I went to the HP Lovecraft Film Festival, I didn't see one movie, one short film.
Nope. Like when I go to the HP Lovecraft, the Necronomicon,
and they're great too. They're not something you should skip, but I do.
They're fantastic. I'll maybe go to one if I'm not on a panel. I'll maybe go to 1 or 2 panels.
Yeah, exactly.
And I know you had to go to a lot of panels because you're recording for the podcast. And you're actually
remember that day I didn't get much sleep and I was in really bad shape. And then
what else is new?
And you went. I know, but it was really bad that day. I mean, horrible. You went down there, and I won't throw any names out there, but one particular asshole was monopolizing the panel.
I remember that jackass.
Yeah, and you were sending me video up to the hotel room. I was just laughing my ass off.
I remember like, look at this fucking jackass now.
Yeah, I think the first one you said, it's a good thing you didn't show up because you wouldn't have been able to say anything anyway.
Pretty much. He really did. He was just complete like, hey, look at me, look at me, look at me.
Oh, he's like that. Daniel calls him Pajama Boy. So we shall refer to him as Pajama Boy.
That's an apt description of that son of a bitch.
Yeah.
Oh my god! Some people had warned me about him, and I was like, all right, well, let me see for myself. Like, no, they're pretty much spot. Mike and the rest were spot on about that jackass.
I'm pretty easygoing when it comes to people, and I can't stand that guy.
Well, you wind up showing up with your cane, and you wind up beating people. So
at least the threat is there.
Exactly. Yeah, it's always overshadowing and looming like the shadow.
Rarely do you have to, me and Roosevelt speak softly and carry a big
stick.
Yeah.
Yep.
Did you guys grow up in the 80s? I know you did, Vince.
Both Robert and I did, and TJ was on the cusp.
Yeah, I had a few years.
Yeah.
TJ is an 80-year-old man in a 35-year-old body.
There you go.
Yeah, I'm getting younger the older I get.
I don't know about that.
So you were 7 when I got married to Gray. That doesn't mean you feel old at all. No, I rewatched for the 100th time Blue Thunder the other night.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Remember that movie?
Yep.
I have a vintage movie poster and lobby cards from that movie.
Are you serious? Oh, I'm jealous, man. Yeah, Roy
I-
Scheider,
I
1983.
have things. That's what I do.
Yeah. Yeah, it looks like you have a few things in the background there, man.
Robert is the Rain Man of the nerd world when it comes to collecting.
Is that a compliment?
It's totally a compliment. It's an absolute compliment. Yeah.
Well, I thought I would ask you guys while I'm here,
Uh-huh.
what are some of your favorite 80s movies like that?
Ghostbusters.
That really nostalgic. Oh, yeah, I know you said
Ghostbusters, The Goonies. Oh God, Die Hard. All the.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Die Hard.
This is more from the 70s, but it's going into the 80s. But the Warriors, Hawk the Slayer,
Oh yeah.
Krull,
Conan.
Yeah, definitely Conan.
Conan.
Love Blue Thunder, Wrath of Khan.
Last Starfighter.
Last Starfighter.
Yeah.
And then there's like other horror movie type stuff I've seen, like The Children, sometimes called The Children of like Ravensbrook or something like that. It's about a busload of kids that go through a nuclear cloud and it kills them and they become radiated zombies whose very touch will burn people to death.
You're ready.
Yeah, and then Phantasm and stuff like that. So
The Last Starfighter was out at the same time as what was the computer?
Tron?
No, not Tron. It was about this kid who has a computer game.
Oh, War Games?
No, but War Games is fantastic. Oh my gosh. Anyway, he's got this computer cartridge game, right?
Mm-hmm.
And he finds out that there's some spy plans on it or something.
Oh, Cloak and Dagger.
Cloak and Dagger. Yeah, Cloak and Dagger. Thank you.
That was a great film.
It was, and it was out at the same time as The Last Starfighter. So
That's
don't
why
tell
it
me
did
the
very
80s
well.
weren't great, you know?
Oh, the 80s is where it's at as far as film is concerned.
Yeah.
And a lot of other things too.
I watched an interview this morning that TMZ interviewed Sylvester Stallone and Arnold Schwarzenegger together,
Oh.
you know, because they've become friends, but they used to be really competitive with each other.
Mm-hmm.
And they were talking about how there were movies with action back in them, like a car chase or a fight or whatnot, but there weren't really action movies in those till those two came along, like where the whole movie is nothing but action, like First Blood, you know,
With the Predator.
right?
Yeah.
Exactly. And how it's ubiquitous today, but it was a really interesting interview.
That's cool.
Got me thinking about the 80s some more, I guess.
No, we love talking about the 80s.
But the thing I always remember from Cloak and Dagger is, you know, how he imagines this super spy that looks like his dad, because his dad kind of ignores him.
Winds up being his dad, yeah.
Yeah.
Dabney Coleman.
Dabney Coleman,
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Same guy. He was in War Games. They played the asshole in War Games. So this guy's imaginary, but if you watch the movie, even back then, I was like 12 when I saw it. And I thought there are a couple times where it almost, to my mind, they were trying to say, no, this guy he's imagining is actually real. Because I remember one time near the end of the movie, you know, the kid's being chased, and of course, Dabney Coleman, super spy, he can just go wherever the kid is.
Yep.
And so he runs past him, and the guy, Dabney Coleman, sitting there having a drink of coffee. And then it shows the same thing like a minute later, and there's hot steaming coffee there. And the thought that in my mind, even as a kid, was somebody was sitting there drinking that coffee.
Correct, yeah.
You know? So I don't know, maybe I'm the only person who's ever seen Cloak and Dagger and thought that, but
I remember seeing that in the movie theater, yeah.
But that's okay. I can live with that.
Yeah, you should. Yeah, it's definitely on your resume.
Yeah. I know the secret to Cloak and Dagger.
The secret to Cloak and Dagger. I know this. I have the secret to One-Eyed Willie. And that's not
Get myself some tinfoil and yeah.
The great. There's a lot of like the explorers Willow,
Yeah.
Goonies,
Legend.
Legend. A lot of those movies were made into novels after the fact, like Alan Dean Foster with Aliens.
Yeah.
The Fog.
They are really good.
Mm-hmm.
They are.
I have all the. I still have my Goonies novelization from when I bought it back in '85.
It's like the novelization of The Fog, for example. I actually have it right here. It's
Holy
it's not
crap.
by some loser who couldn't get a job, and all he
Mhm.
does is novelizations.
Yeah.
And he probably taps it out in the day because he doesn't
Right.
care.
Yeah.
Mhm.
This is written by Dennis Etchinson,
Oh,
know,
okay.
and it's just a great novelization. It'd be a great book for a movie.
Yeah.
Although
there's
I
a-
absolutely love The Fog.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do too. I got a poster over there.
Really?
Oh, cool.
Show us.
I can't turn the camera that way, but I'll show you this.
What the hell is that?
That's
Oh,
Blake
Blake.
Jesus.
Ah. Cool.
from The Fog.
Yep.
Yep.
Is that
So-
a what the hell's his name? He did the Spawn.
McFarlane? No, that looks
Is
like
that
a
a
Super
McFarlane?
7.
Okay.
I don't know that it is, but that's what it looks like. One of the retro.
Oh, the action figure?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. My friend Kelly Young sent this to me because he knows I'm such a fog nut.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That
A fog nut.
Fog nut. So we call
I
them
absolutely
foggers.
love the fog.
Fog
Foggers.
nuts. Fog
No.
nuts.
I also think it's
April
great that
21.
John Carpenter has a habit of using like all the same actors in his various
Yeah,
movies.
Tom
He's
Atkins.
very much like John Ford in that way, which doesn't surprise me because John Carpenter is such a big Western fan. Although he definitely has made a career out of imitating Howard Hawks, but like John Ford and I guess to a degree Howard Hawks, they had a certain stable of actors who would play different roles in different movies. So
Mike Flanagan is doing
Yeah.
that too.
yeah, so
Same actors. In fact, one of his actors that he loves, I know he's doing this because he loves the 80s too, is the kid from Cloak and Dagger.
Oh,
Oh,
nice.
cool.
Yeah. Yeah,
Well,
so
I
that
mean-
guy's career is getting a second,
Get
research.
rebooted. Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
because of Flanagan.
Yeah, well, it makes sense to me. I would think as a director, if you've got people that you like to work with who can bring
Yeah.
certain things to your productions, you may have to plug a different lead in here and or there. But as far as character parts go, I mean, if you've got the right people, it's just why wouldn't you use them from production to production if they're available to do
Yeah.
it for as long as they're young enough to fit certain character parts. And of course, having John Houseman as the ship captain who's telling ghost stories on the beach. The Fog is absolutely one of my favorite
He also
ghost
sent me
stories, horror movies, whatever you want to call it. There's just so much more there. But of course, I like Prince of Darkness too, which is
so do I.
yeah.
He also sent me, since you like collecting things, a double LP
Mhm.
of the soundtrack, and it starts off with Houseman
Oh,
doing-
cool.
doing his monologue, his story reading. Or-
Yeah.
yeah, it's really great.
Oh,
and
I
there's
bet.
some really great new artwork on the album.
Oh, cool.
Yeah,
Well, I know
Yes.
recently Carpenter's been releasing or re-releasing certain things on various formats, vinyl and or CD, of his film scores for his movies, which is something he's done for most of the things he's done.
yeah.
Obviously-
For that theme at the beginning, when I first saw that movie, I knew I thought I'm going to love this movie because right at the beginning it does the Poe quote.
Mhm,
It's all that we see or seem, just a dream within a dream.
mhm,
And then he's got that piano music that he composed over it.
mhm.
A very eerie, atmospheric piece. And yeah, he's a good composer.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Of course, I also one of my favorite Alan Parsons Project albums is the first album, which is the Poe stories, which on the I think the re-release version of that they added in all that narration by Orson Welles, who of course does the Dream Within a Dream at like the start of the album before going into the Raven and such. But yeah. I'm kind of a music nerd on top of everything else. So
yeah, me too. Alan Wake was an awesome horror video game. Yeah, it's Alan Wake's quite the Lovecraftian game. So yeah, you into video games?
I'm pretty sure Crusader is.
Crusader is. I play a lot of, well, not a lot, but I'll play some fantasy games. Diablo, old Icewind Dale, and Neverwinter Nights, but not too much of the new stuff.
Yeah, we could do another. I assume there's more than one Ghostbuster, Call of Cthulhu, Ghostbuster, or whatever games.
Oh,
that'd be pretty cool.
That would be pretty.
I'd be up for it.
I totally. If you want to collaborate on that, I'd be up for that.
Yeah,
Ghostbusters is my youngest son's absolute favorite movie.
Oh, every line is quotable.
Yeah,
every line in that goddamn script is quotable.
I blame myself.
So do I. Why worry? Each of us is wearing an unlicensed nuclear accelerator on his back.
I say that I say that sometimes, and my family looks at me like, "What? What is that?"
Like, go watch Ghostbusters, goddammit.
The old man has lost it again.
Yep.
I remember reading somewhere that Dan Aykroyd hadn't planned on actually being in the movie, and that the part he played was written with John Belushi in mind. That John Belushi was originally supposed to be that character, but obviously he passed away before that could happen. And
I don't know if I see that working nearly as well, because Aykroyd in the movie, he's got this he's like the real innocent member of the trio, or the quartet of guys.
But I mean, he generally, I mean, he's completely committed and absolutely believes, unquestionably, undoubtedly, but he's still like mind blown by, wow, this is the thing, whatever the thing is.
Wow, there's a novelization of Ghostbusters.
Oh my god, it is phenomenal.
There's an 80s Ghostbusters game.
There is, yeah.
Yeah,
and there's an old Atari game too. It's got
that might be the one I'm thinking of. Yeah,
this is amazing. It's by Richard Mueller.
Okay.
Go to Abe Books, ABE Books, BOOKS for all you illiterate bastards. AbeBooks.com.
Why shouldn't we mention Dan Aykroyd around you?
Here around me. So
yeah.
Okay. Blues Brothers is garbage. Blues Brothers is garbage. I will die on that hill. Fuck all of you. In fact, hang on. I think I even have a banner for that.
I'm not a big Blues Brothers.
Oh, yes. I have a brother. Yes, I knew you weren't. I knew
that movie is good for only one line.
Correct. I knew you and I were friends. Here you go.
Yeah.
Yes, fuck. I will go on record and I will say this. You can quote me. Fuck the Blues Brothers. Oh, but it's no. Blues Brothers sucks balls.
Wrong.
But it's a classic.
Wrong.
No, I've got Mike Davis to back me up, and Chesty on Twitter will tear you up too. No, don't do not quote me, Aaron. Do not quote me, Aaron.
I don't see what's great about it, but there you go.
Exactly. Thank you, Mike. Thank you.
And there's only one reason for that movie to exist. For that line, "We're on a mission from God." That's it.
That's about it. Yeah.
That's the only Blues Brothers line that I ever quote.
Correct. There you go.
Because I haven't seen it so long because I didn't like it. Is one reason. I can't remember any other line.
As well, exactly. There's a reason why you don't remember any other line because they're not good.
They're not memorable.
A movie, part of the movie's appeal and goodness, if you will, is the ability to quote from it.
That's true.
It's very true. So
That's true. For example,
shut up, TJ.
quote something from Blue Thunder. See you later.
Oh,
Catch you later. Catch you later. Remember that?
Okay, that one. Yeah,
Catch you later.
It's been so long since I've seen that.
Whoever Daniel is, yeah, you're right. He's wrong. Wrong.
Oh, that's my wife.
What? No, Danielle, I'm sorry. I love your husband's fantastic. He's a great guy, but I have to disavow you.
Wow.
You completely Blues Brothers sucks a large fill in the blank. Use your imagination. It's just not good. It sucks dick.
Yeah, now this is great. You guys get to. This is what I hear a lot. It's okay to be wrong,
boys. You have to learn not to talk to nuns like that.
Nuns.
I don't know what that means, but
it's a line from the movie.
Okay,
there's a reason why.
That's okay. There you go.
Yeah, see, exactly. There's a reason why Mike and I don't know that because we know the movie sucks balls.
Liar.
Catch you later, TJ.
In fact, wait a minute. Hang on. Wait, we have to do this.
Let me look up more quotable.
We have to do we have to do this.
You just got out of Joliet. You can't call the cops on them. Man.
How do we have to go over here? Let me go to these 3 dots above TJ's. It says kick from studio. Oh, there we go.
It's okay to be wrong, Vince. It's okay to be wrong.
Well, it's okay for you to be wrong. Absolutely.
No.
Here's another quotable line that I think is even more pertinent today from Blue Thunder. It's 1983. He's got a beeper, right? And so he's been suspended. Remember this? He's been suspended, and so he goes off investigating something. I won't get into what. And his beeper keeps going off, and so finally he gets pissed and puts it in the glove compartment. And then he gets back, and then he goes to a payphone, and it's his boss. He's like, "I've been trying to get you all night. Why don't you answer your fucking beeper?" He goes, "Well, I just want to tell you, Jack, the next time I'm suspended, so is my fucking beeper."
Yeah, exactly.
If you like Blues Brothers, you may not get that, but
yeah.
Sorry.
It's another good movie from the 80s, Big Trouble in Little China.
Oh, absolutely.
That's a great movie.
Yep. Fantastic movie.
The sequel to Buckaroo Banzai.
I know, right?
That never happened.
Pretty much. But no, that's another cult following as Buckaroo Banzai.
Another
Across the 8th Dimension.
Well, the Thing, right? Another Carpenter movie that failed, like The Fog. Well, The Fog actually made some money, but
but it was
another
no
Carpenter
Halloween, so it was considered a failure because it wasn't
right.
a massive hit. Halloween was,
but it only cost $1 million to make. They spent $3 million on marketing, and I don't know how much it made, but it made more than that.
That's ridiculous.
But yeah, but failed Carpenter movies like The Thing, like Big Trouble in Little China, and that they're huge still.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, definitely. They have staying power. It
took a little while, but not very long. Not as long as we might remember, because right after that, it was during the video rental era, excuse me, and that's what saved it. I mean, if you can watch a movie at home,
yeah,
I kind of miss video stores. I don't know about you guys.
West Coast Video and Blockbuster, they were fantastic.
I lived about a mile away from a video store. It was called Video Rental, and they did 2 videos on Tuesdays for 99 cents.
Oh wow!
It's like
that's one of their slowest. That was one of their slowest days.
You have to go even if you're not going to watch the movies.
Yeah. We grabbed so many movies. Place. It was great. I feel so spoiled compared to, and the thing is, you had a good selection, but also you kind of, it was like an experience just picking the films out, you know.
Yeah.
Whereas
It
now,
was.
It was
As
basically
opposed to
quest.
sitting here with your remote and flipping
yeah,
through.
it freaking
No,
don't
yeah,
think-
I will be the first one to say there's pluses and minuses to both. But you know, I don't have to worry about, remember having to rush to the store, to the video store on Friday night, and
Before
before everyone
midnight?
else got the brand new
Yep.
movie, and their 20 copies were rented out. You don't have to worry about that now, but I still miss it's not only the experience, like you were talking about, TJ and Vince, but it was a communal experience too, because your neighbors that you knew, you went to the same video store.
Well, they would go over to your house if you got the one copy from Blockbuster.
Right.
You turned it into a party.
Yeah, you
Right.
turned it into a party. And the other thing is, you didn't have to like go through 6 different stores to figure out whether they had the film. Like if you went to Blockbuster, there was a Blockbuster where I lived, and it had films from the 30s and even the 20s. Like it had everything.
Yeah.
The big fight was over the new stuff. But once
Right.
it was no longer new, you could go find anything pretty much. And there would be copies of it. And they don't. And the other thing is the whole search. Yeah, exactly. We don't need the internet. We didn't need the internet to go get those movies. So
I was in Canada in 2014. I rented a little apartment above a video store in 2014 in Tamworth, Ontario. It was still in operation. Little family video store.
Nice.
Yeah.
You know, like for today, I couldn't get Vince to come over and have some beers with me by simply saying, I've got the only copy of The Thing in town. You know, so, you
There you
know,
go.
because I don't think he'd believe me.
I would not believe you.
Maybe you would believe me.
Maybe.
Yeah. That's how you're getting me to New Jersey, right?
Exactly.
Got the only copy of The Fog in
the
New
only
Jersey.
copy of The Fog and The Thing and the Big Trouble in Little China. We're going to watch on the VCR.
yeah.
Man,
I actually just got a bunch of videos on VHS, and
they're good to have.
it's just yeah. I don't need internet, and I don't need I don't need to be subjected to a hey, you're about to watch a film where there's a bunch of stuff that's not politically correct anymore, and here's our lecture.
Yeah, don't even get me started on trigger warnings.
Oh God.
Oh hell, they do that before episodes of Gunsmoke on
Are you kidding?
on TV on
That's
certain
crazy.
TV channels.
Are you serious?
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
That's like stuff a
Yeah.
10-year-old can watch.
Well, that's the
very
only stuff my
innocuous.
youngest gets to watch.
Look, I have more right than most to bitch about trigger warnings because I had a really bad childhood. You know, this I won't even get into it, but Christian, you know, I'm triggered if I see a cross. You know, triggered. If we're not supposed to see anything that might disturb us based on our past negative experiences,
Feel free to delve into that. Feel free to delve into that if you want to.
yeah, I have every right. I have every right to say you're triggering me with, you know, the cross you're wearing, but that would be ridiculous.
Yeah.
And the only reason why other people would agree with me that it's ridiculous is because, you know, it's everywhere.
Yeah.
But so is everything else, really. You know, I watched this. Are you being sarcastic about delving into this?
No, you know.
Okay. Well, there was this TV show I was watching with my wife, and obviously she knows all about the things that I really don't want to be around mentally. And something happened in the show. Long story short, I get really upset. But I still would not have wanted a trigger warning or a content warning or whatever before that show. Okay, things happen, you know, and things are going to remind us of those negative things. You know, and these days you got people who grew up in Mayberry acting like they're getting triggered every time something happens that they don't like, or they see something in a movie that they don't like. You know, I don't get it. So I'm hearing disapproval in your
No, you're complete agreement. we're pondering and cogitating on that because it's very true. I mean, you have to be responsible for your own feelings.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
You cannot expect a world to
Well, man,
And if I don't have more right to talk about this than others, I probably would just say, well, to each their own. But I had a terrible childhood, and sometimes things remind me of that,
mhm.
and I get very upset. And I try not to, but
right.
you know, I was reading a book a couple of years ago for the show, and you know, I was going to interview the author on the show. I told him I threw your book across the room,
Mm,
and then I went and got it and I finished it.
yeah.
You know, because there was a scene in there that really upset me, but you know, doesn't mean it wasn't a good book.
It's called being an adult.
And if you start trigger warnings and content warnings about some things, where does it end? I mean,
Well, that's it.
suddenly you're going to trigger warning somebody who's put in a drunk tank because that happened to you when you were 21, and you know, and you don't want to be reminded of it. Trigger warning, drunk tank.
Well, the thing is, for me, it's like with the content warnings on like TV Land before an episode of Gunsmoke that, you know, this shows, you know, out of date ideas and stereotypes and so on and so forth. It's like the person who's watching a black and white episode of Gunsmoke from the 1950s or 60s is probably not a pansexual furry who would be offended by Indians and gunplay and
Probably some guy
cowboys
some
and
old
Indians.
guy who remembers watching
Yeah.
it when he was a kid, and he loves it because it's nostalgia. Or it's some little kid who wouldn't understand the content warning anyway.
Exactly.
Correct.
And you know, in my case as a father of a young child, I've got old children as well, but that's neither here nor there. They can choose what they watch. But you know, I would much rather him watch The Rifleman or Gunsmoke or Bonanza than anything pretty much that they have on Nickelodeon in the afternoon. Hell, my youngest is really gotten into the old Max Fleischer Popeye cartoons from like the 1940s.
Oh yeah,
And
there's
tonight,
some great Superman ones too.
yeah, and tonight he was after 4-H. He was apparently watching TV with his mom, and he was watching an episode of the Andy Griffith Show where they were confused that Barney and Andy thought that Opie had a make-believe friend, and it wasn't. It was a lineman who was wearing a silver hard hat and had all kinds of tools that he referred to as his extra hands and stuff like that. And it wasn't a make-believe friend at all. It was a, you know, real life person. But he did not want his mom changing the channel because he wanted to watch the end of this Andy Griffith Show. And this is a kid who's still in single digits age-wise.
Right.
So I don't know. I think I'm doing a good job being a dad, letting him watching that kind of stuff than
Sounds
watching
like it to me.
The Loud House or SpongeBob SquarePants or, you know.
Yeah.
I
mean, it's a really cold, harsh world out there.
Yes.
And you know, if you're not, you're going to find some of that coldness and harshness in the books that you read and the movies that you watch and the TV that you watch too.
Yeah.
And you're not going to find a world who gives one ass shit about the fact that I had a tough childhood. Nobody cares. Okay. I mean, my friends care, but they don't, you know, the guy making the movie does not care, you know, and why should he? You know, why should he? And the world owes it to me to not upset me is what it really boils down to, doesn't it?
Yeah. Well, unfortunately, we've elevated feelings over facts and logic.
Yeah.
And the feeling, what you feel in the moment is basically God. And I personally have a problem with that.
We also are in a position where it seems to be no matter what side you're on of any on any topic or any subject, that there is no middle ground anymore, right?
Correct.
You're either with us or against us.
Mhm.
You can say that just about just about anything out there. A lot of people feel that way.
Mhm.
Can't sit down and say, okay, I agree with you. You disagree with me. Let's talk about this. Figure out what if we can learn from each other. That doesn't happen.
Well, I'm sorry. I don't care, but if you like Blues Brothers, you're dead to me.
That is true, though.
I mean,
That's the one.
that's
No, I'm
what
kidding.
the-
Sorry, honey.
that's where that is where the line is drawn.
No, it's not. No, it's not. No,
But
it's
It
you
really
know,
is.
now you
No.
said you wanted to come visit me sometime. You realize you got to sleep here in the office now because she's not. You don't. Like
I
the
will.
Blues Brothers.
That's fine. I will fight your wife on that to the ends of the earth. Like, I'm sorry, but Blues Brothers sucks balls.
She says the door's locked.
wrong,
The door
wrong,
locked.
wrong.
TJ, you have a counterpoint?
You can keep singing wrong
I'm
like
going to
Aaron
do a
Clary.
podcast on why the Blues Brothers was a good film.
And you know what? I'm not going to listen to it.
Don't invite us, and
Don't
we're not
invite
going
us.
to listen.
Exactly.
Alright.
So no,
I'll bet there
Blues
is a podcast about the Blues Brothers somewhere out there, though.
there might be some jackass. Here, let's put this up. Here, let's put this up again. It's for
You're
all
really
you
trying to
Blues-
get me to sleep on the couch tonight, aren't you?
It's right. It's for all you Blues Brothers lovers out there, male or female, doesn't matter.
We
all
did
about-
discuss, though. Is this like halfway? We discussed a movie we really, really like. That the first word is Blue Thunder, Blues
Okay,
Brothers. I mean,
yeah.
there you go.
All right. Okay. We'll go with that. Yeah. Ridiculous. I was going to say 8 o'clock. You're a legitimate phenomenon.
8 o'clock.
8 o'clock. Oh my God.
It's just I'm afraid that you're just gonna hear more of that, Vince.
Probably it's probably yes.
So
So
this kind of talent that's gonna
oh my God. So what is it? What is up for the upcoming year? We're like almost halfway through 2024, which 2023 was a shit show. So thank God we're past that. So we're about almost halfway through 2024. What do you see coming up for the eZine?
Well, I just started something I call Late Night with Lovecraft eZine, which is Thursday nights at 11 Eastern, 10 Central.
Okay.
And it's kind of like the old Art
Is that where you
Bell
walk
Coast to
around in
Coast.
your HP Lovecraft underoos in your office?
No, I think the guy was kind of a dick, actually. but I like his fiction. But no, I've never been, let's say the writer was an absolute great human being. I still don't care, I don't want to be buddies with them. I just want to read your book, right?
Correct. Yeah, correct.
So anyway, I started this as an experiment. Late Night with Lovecraft eZine on YouTube.
Okay.
On the Lovecraft eZine channel. And I said, you guys may hate this, and 2 people may show up. But if you like it, let me know. And apparently they like it. So that whole late night vibe with, like I said, I don't believe in the supernatural, but this show is always fun to listen to.
There's something about
Art Bell,
being up late at night.
Yeah, Coast to Coast AM.
Yeah.
Art Bell from coming at you from the desert.
Yeah.
And it's that kind of vibe.
Yep.
Not that it's about the paranormal. It's not, but just that kind of vibe. It's late at night and you're listening to a voice on the radio or on YouTube. But what I mean.
Now, do you turn off your video so that everyone can just hear your voice and not have to look at you?
When I get 10 requests for it, then I will, and I'm up to 9. So
I will make sure that I hop in.
Yeah, I have a face for radio.
Don't we all?
So
cool. Okay. Anything else, or is that it?
That's it. No,
Okay.
no, I'm working on editing a collection for a writer. I'm going to publish that, and that's just something that just came up. But the podcast is the big thing.
Yeah.
And I've got guests. If you go to the Lovecraft eZine website and click on, community and events, then you can see a link to the Lovecraft eZine calendar. And we do
you got
stuff.
a Google Calendar, right?
Yeah, it's a Google Calendar. It's a public Google Calendar, and the upcoming guests on the Sunday show.
That's a good idea.
And the Sunday show at 6 p.m. That's your regular show, and then the special one is the Thursday at 11, the late night. Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, and I've got 4 or 5 just about every week. Great panelists that are on the show with me that make it a lot of fun.
Yeah.
So
cool.
So yeah.
So you have to add in there the return of the either Call of Cthulhu online games or the Ghostbusters game. Even if it's a one shot.
We could do both, but I'd love to start with Ghostbusters.
Right, just even doing a one shot, like a couple hours.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm down for that, so count me in.
Yeah, I guess we need to do some Googling and find another Ghostbusters Call of Cthulhu game or whatever. Something similar to that.
Mm-hmm.
And we got to find, what do you think, 3 other guys?
We need at least you, me, and we need at least 3 players and 1 GM.
Who's going to be GM?
Not me.
Not me. Not it.
What the fuck, man?
Yeah.
Not it.
Some people really love being the GM, though.
I like being a GM around the table.
Yeah.
Like live.
Yeah.
I still run D&D games.
It's like president. We can find some schmuck to do this. And
we could probably hire somebody off of Fiverr.
Yeah, and off of Fiverr.
Please DM our Ghostbusters game.
Yeah, that old Bloom County comic.
Right.
We need to find somebody for this job and immediately be blamed for every problem in the world. President Steve Dallas is like, forget it.
Forget it. It ain't got no gas in it.
Yeah, that's a good comic from the 80s.
Yeah,
all those 80s politics, into the comic.
Yep.
So, yep. All right. Well, thanks for having me on, guys.
Yeah, we're coming up on the 2-hour mark. Does anyone in the chat have a question for Mike or the panel here? Because if not, we're going to sign off because we're old and we need to get our beauty rest.
Check your prostate.
I already did that twice. I'm still holding up. So, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, 2 hours is the limit, right? If you're old.
I really don't like to go. Look at it this way. Most people in the United States in particular, but across the board internationally, have the attention span of a lima bean. I'm serious.
That's why YouTube Shorts and TikTok is so popular.
No. Here's something. I just posted recently. It's got a lot of views. It's got over almost 500 views. But I posted it's called Welcome to Masculine Geek, and it's 32 seconds long. The average view duration is 22 seconds.
Yeah.
Really? Fucking really? You people are ridiculous. You can't spend another actual 10 seconds? It's enough.
I'm amazed you and I have a show at all. That
I know, right?
Usually runs an hour and a half to 2 hours.
Exactly.
But I guess we just find the best listeners out there, right?
All right. Your wife is starting to piss me off.
Mm-hmm.
And
that's her goal.
I'm gonna have to ban her. Where's the mute button?
She's a lady.
I look forward to meeting your wife someday. That'd be cool. We can argue the pros and cons of that piece of shit Blues Brothers.
Yeah.
I guarantee you there's more cons than pros, that's for sure.
I don't even want to know. I'm not even going to watch it again just so I can argue.
Exactly.
I'm
That's
not
the way to do
committed.
it. That's the way to do it.
Danielle would be like, okay, movie night.
That reminds me, you do a movie night on the Patreon, don't you?
Actually, that's for everybody because I'm
Oh,
such a
okay.
softie. But yeah, on Saturday nights at 9:30 Eastern, something like
Okay.
that.
And
Matt
let me
runs it for me.
and let me guess, you don't watch Blues Brothers.
No, we watch other kinds of horror.
Exactly. Fantastic. I love it. That's the way to do
Yeah, other horror movies, not that horror movie.
it. Not that complete piece of garbage.
Big Ass Spider is something that Matt's holding out for.
Big ass spider.
It's an actual movie, yeah.
Oh my
Mhm.
god, that's kind of
Kelly watched it. I guess Kelly watched it like yesterday or the day before. He's like, "This is actually kind of good."
Oh, okay. It's got a cool name, actually.
Yeah,
Sweet.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
you'll like it
everyone-
better than Blues Brothers.
I would like everything better than I look at this. Let's put it this way: I will clean out my sock drawer and like that better than Blues Brothers. So that's my endorsement for the Blues Brothers. And
Well,
in fact, wait
yeah.
a minute, one more time for the cheap seats. So there you go.
That's why all these people have stuck in here this whole time. They've stayed in.
Exactly. So everyone in the chat has joined us. Thank you for being here. If you do not have any other questions for Mike or us, we were going to sign off for now.
Yeah, thanks for having me, guys.
Absolutely. And we'll have to have you on again to talk about the Blues Brothers once more.
Yeah, hopefully I can figure out my headphones that time.
I think we spent like 10 minutes figuring out your technology.
Well, you know what it is? It's
What is
the
it?
fact that StreamYard doesn't have a setting for the headphones. You got to do it on your computer. Once I figured that out, it was easy.
Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha. All right. Good to know.
Okay.
All right, everyone. We're signing off now. So let me think. I have no idea what's happening on May 1st. May 8th is the Raul Tomasi AD&D game. So we'll be streaming live on that.
Oh, real quick. Do you like The Usual Suspects movie?
Yeah.
All right. Okay, that's all I had.
Okay. Thanks.
Danielle hates that movie. She hates
Oh,
it, and I love it.
Yes.
Kaiser Soze.
Right, Kaiser Sosa. That's right. We have to make sure I play that when I just have it running on my hip on my phone when I come to your house. Just have it running really loud on a
That Armenian guy or whatever he was in the hospital bed. He's half burnt. He's yelling, Kaiser Soze, Kaiser Soze.
Fantastic. I love it. I love it.
Yeah.
All right.
all right.
So I do have an announcement to make. So Masculine Geek is taking a hiatus as far as a summer vacation. So for the months of June, July, and August, we'll only be broadcasting once a month. Yes, I know. Many of you are going to be broken up about this. Many of you are going to cry.
I get it though. At your age, you gotta
I
be
know.
careful.
I have to get my walker refurbished and and my sword cane sharpened again. No, there's things I want to do. Some traveling I want to do. I know TJ wants to come out to New Jersey again, so we're gonna plan that trip soon. But yeah, so Masculine Geek is going down to once a month broadcasting for the months of June, July, and August.
This is why you have
However,
archives.
Exactly. However, there will be video essays by both TJ and Rob from the masculinegeek.life website, which I'm putting to audio video essays, which will be broadcasting on those off days. So enjoy this while it lasts. Enjoy the month of May, the every Wednesday in May, because we're going to go on a little bit of a vacation, and I'm going to do some traveling and some writing and a few other things I have in the works. And then we'll return to our regular scheduled broadcast schedule back in September. So there's that. I wanted to make that announcement for people who've lasted this long in the chat and who have lasted this long watching later after the broadcast is over.
Are you
Also-
are you still working or have you retired?
I have not retired yet. I still work full time. I do other things as well. So my plate is always full.
Understood. Thanks for
And,
getting me in trouble with my wife, asshole.
Hey, it's the least I can do.
What,
Hey, you
what
got-
are friends for, right?
What are
Right.
friends? I mean, hey,
Exactly.
who needs leprosy when you have me as a friend?
Fun fact about leprosy: it's actually not that contagious.
It's really not, no. But when you're with me,
Yeah.
it is. Yes.
Yeah.
So
Well, I
But
wouldn't take the chance, but still.
exactly. I will say this though: there may be rogue broadcasts on the weekend. So I know May 8th, Saturday at 2 p.m. we have Hans Comain coming back on the show to talk about our favorite topic, women. So that'll be fun on May 8th at 2 p.m. Eastern. And we may have Robert and I will may have some Friday random painting episodes. I'm not
Yeah, miniature
ex-
painting.
miniature painting
Oh,
nights. I'm
that's
not
nice.
excluding those, but the regular scheduled broadcast on Wednesday nights. There you go.
Stompy robots.
Is that like a zombie Batman?
It is a zombie Batman.
Did you paint that?
No, Kelly did.
Oh, that's cool.
He
Why
said,
aren't
how can I explain this? I had a lot of free time during the pandemic.
Nice. How come you're not painting?
I'm too busy podcasting, trying to make everyone else happy.
Exactly. Thank you, Mictibus. A well-deserved break. Absolutely. So it's there's some stuff I need to do. I have to do because I look at it this way. I'm 54. I have less time ahead of me
It's
than
worse than I thought.
I know, right? It's fucking ridiculous. I have less time ahead of me than I do behind me. So I want to take advantage of certain opportunities coming up in the summertime. So, yeah.
Sounds good.
Absolutely. All right. So we're going to sign off if there's no other questions or concerns about Masculine Geek or the future of the Lovecraft eZine or Mike being in trouble with his wife.
You'll have to email those questions.
You have to email those questions to 1-800 shove it up your ass at gmail.com.
That's funny. Is that your suggestion box?
That is exactly my suggestion box. Yes.
Okay.
A decade left. Well, I have at least a decade given my own health. Yes, probably a decade. I'm hoping for a decade.
And your drinking habits.
You have no idea.
Your liver is trying to call it quits even now.
COVID turned TJ and I into functioning alcoholics. Yeah.
My blood tests say I am as strong as an ox and everything's normal. So
That's because you drink like a fifth of gin every fucking day.
I wouldn't say you're a functioning alcoholic.
I'm
functioning, really.
I'm a dysfunctional alcoholic. Yes.
No, I'm doing Wyatt. I am rolling.
That's another movie that's fantastically quotable.
Yes.
Yeah,
Functioning alcoholic. That's a guy who's still able to go to work but drinks.
Well, that's me. I can definitely go to work and perform very well.
You know, it's late for me, but for you guys, I mean, at least for Vince, it's
almost 11 o'clock for
freaking
me.
midnight.
Well, I look at it this way.
No, it's 11 o'clock. Yeah,
I have off until next Wednesday. I rented a cabin. I rented a cabin up in the Pocono Mountains in PA for a little writing retreat for myself.
Cabin in the woods.
Cabin in the woods, my friend.
Nothing ever went wrong with that plan.
Well, it does have a hot tub and a great sunset view.
Oh, okay.
And I will be bringing a biscuit with me.
Is having money nice? I hear it's nice.
It's very nice. Yes.
Okay.
You should try it sometime. Yes.
I've been trying it.
We'll give you a hand. We're gonna.
All right. Thanks, man.
Thanks
Thanks for plugging the Patreon. I appreciate it.
We're gonna get some Patreon. Yeah. So everyone who's still in the chat right now, get over to the Lovecraft eZine. Where's the do you have a Patreon link directly I can share with everybody?
Yeah, Patreon. Email it.
Email it to me. Yes.
All right, I'm emailing you.
Email that shit right now.
All right.
God damn it.
Okay, patreon.com/Lovecraft. Using that shit.
Because most people in the chat are semi-functioning adults. And I say that with love and heartfelt thanks.
There you go. Did you get it?
Not yet. It's still in process. I'm refreshing, Mike. I don't know. Your email is really bad.
Maybe it's your email.
No, my email.
Why are you blaming my email?
Your email sucks.
I'm blaming your email because you're older than me.
I am not older than you.
How old are you?
52. I'm about to turn
I'm definitely older than you. Well, Robert's the oldest one here.
Yeah, yeah.
He's like
I'll be
62.
56 this year.
56,
Actually,
right.
I'll be 56 in about a month.
Oh, really?
So you don't have Vince beat by much, really.
Not really, no.
I sent it to. Is it okay to tell everyone your email?
Yeah. No, don't tell everyone. Shut up.
It's Villarosa.
Shut up.
13 at AOL.com. No, I'm kidding.
There you go. Well, shut up. God damn it. AOL.
AOL.
Shit. All right, so here you go. Head over there and sign up. I don't want to hear anyone in this chat that they have money problems because you're a lying sack of shit. I'm telling you now. I have to tell like it is. I'm tired. I'm tired of you guys giving super chats to retards, and then not
There is
giving
a lot of that super chat stuff going on, isn't there?
There really is.
I mean, it's
like,
okay
no,
for sending it to me, but otherwise,
well, exactly. Don't give a super chat. Sign up the person's thing that they have. If they got a subscription service, sign up for that. If they have a Patreon, sign up for that. That's the best way to support the content creators that you enjoy and like.
Ko-Fi, sign up for that.
Yes. So go over to Mike's Lovecraft eZine Patreon. You know what, Mictobus? You're disappointing me.
You know what, AJ? I'm gonna try that $1,000 level just to see what happens.
TJ?
You never know.
What?
TJ?
I thought it was AJ that said that. Maybe it was.
Who's AJ? What are you talking about?
The $1,000 Patreon level.
Where's that at?
I should actually do that on my Patreon to see.
Sign up for it. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, signs up for that. Shit, talk about money problems.
I would say do at least a 500 level.
All right. We'll see if anyone's fool enough to fall for that.
I'm actually not joking. I would actually do that just to see.
Yeah, you're probably not wrong. So I can't offer you anything more, but if you're actually rich and you want to support me, do this.
Exactly. Some people need the incentive to. Some people like to be told what to do.
That's true. And I should have mentioned this before now, but there's a guy by the name of Andrew. He's the Weirdling on Twitter, and he's matching dollar for dollar anyone who donates to the Lovecraft eZine or becomes the Lovecraft eZine Patreon.
Oh, there you go.
April and May.
It's like one of those a fund drive matchings. Yeah.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. I just can't believe he's doing it. What a nice thing to do.
So go over there and sign up for the Patreon, and then have Andrew the Weirdling, whatever the hell that means, have him sign up and match it. So there you go.
It's just his ID on Twitter. Posts a lot of horror related stuff.
Oh, okay. Is he a writer or just a fan?
Fan, I think.
Okay, cool. I like it.
Yeah,
I like it. Fantastic.
All right. Thanks, guys.
Stop buying pens, Mictobus, and sign up for somebody's $10 a month Patreon.
Base pedals.
I'm disappointed in all of you. Very disappointed.
Me too, or just the listeners?
The listeners, not you.
Oh, okay.
But I've been.
That's the way to keep them coming back, you know.
Exactly. We just like pat you on the shoulder and pretend you're, we like you.
All right. Thanks, guys.
Robert, TJ, any other questions for Mike, or should we sign off?
No, all good on my end.
I'm good.
Nice to meet you guys.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, so TJ, take us out.
All right, guys. You know the drill. Keep the fires burning. Keep the lead shooting down range. Keep the wine flowing. Don't take anyone nickels. And tune in to next week's episode.
There you go. To be determined.